Hello, dear friends. I'm Dr. Mukesh Parik, and this is my another video in the series of cultural studies. Today, I am present with the study of semiotics. First of all, I would like to inform to the students of English Literature NET JRF that semiotics is a study of sign which is studied under structuralism also and cultural studies also. And there are four or five major writers who have given their theories in this field, and one should not get confused between the two words semiotics and semiology. Semiotics is not a new word. First of all, to understand it fully, we should know that sign, it is a study of sign or a process, and the word has come from the word semiosis, and we can go in the etymology of this word. Then we find that this word was used in Greek, and the Greek word is semiotikos, which means observant of signs, signs, or a mark. Or it can be anything. It can be the study of a sign, and sign can be an activity, a conduct, or any kind of process, where different kind of signs are involved, which participate in the production of meaning. Now, most important study of sign is the sign of the study of language, and before 1676 there was a writer, Henry Stubb. He used this word, before Renaissance, and but up to the best of my knowledge, as you all know, that there was a great writer whose an essay concerning human understanding, published in 1690, written by John Locke. He has used in his fourth chapter of this essay the term semiotics. So I'm making this video by pointing out certain facts which can be asked as questions, so that if students watch this video, they can solve questions also. And in between the video, I would like to ask you, if you are watching me first time, kindly subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon also, so that you can be notified for the next video. So far we have talked about that semiotics and semiology, one and the same thing. Semiotic word has come from the Greek word. It was used before Renaissance by the writer Henry Stubb. It is also used by John Locke in his famous essay, an essay concerning human understanding, published in 1690. Now comes the very important writer, Charles Sanders Peirce. The spelling of this surname is Peirce, but we pronounce it Peirce. He used and termed the word semiotic, and actually he has defined this term as quasi-necessary or formal doctrine of sign. They can ask you this question as such, so I repeat it. Quasi, Quisi. Quasi means pseudo, pseudo means false. Quasi necessary or formal doctrine of science. Now, to make this video precise, I would like to say that Charles Sanders Peirce has used 76 times the definition of the word sign in his study of sign. A sign is, he has defined in three ways. That in his study, he says that there are some three basic elements in the study, or the kind of, when sign works to give us a meaning. There are three sections. The first one, a sign is behaves as an icon. Icon means a kind of inherent similarities are there. For example, M.H. Abrams in his book talks about this icon, the first category of this sign propounded by Charles Sanders Peirce, that suppose there is a portrait and there is an inherent similarity between someone and his portrait. So he says that this is also a kind of sign, which is in the form of an icon, a photograph, where there are inherent similarities. Second, he talks about an object, which he has used as an index, a kind of he says that any object can be there, and he has talked about that object as an index which bears some natural relationship or relationship of cause and effect. For example, there is a danger mark where two bones are this way and a skull is in between. So that danger mark somewhere, has a relationship, or that sign shows that if whatever you are doing can cause some danger. So there can be, for example, some cigarette sign is painted somewhere for no smoking. So that bears some natural relationship between cause and effect. So that sign has called index. Third one is a symbol. A symbol means a kind of gesture. This third part is related to social understanding, or the symbolic representation of a society in their culture. For example, shaking of hands shows, like, two people are very close either, or they are meeting and they are showing some solidarity. So this is all about Charles Sanders Peirce understanding of sign. There is another important writer, you all have heard about, Ferdinand de Saussure. Ferdinand de Saussure was famous for giving the term semiology in his famous essay, general study of general study of language, in which he talks about uh, two things. Suppose I say that as Charles Sanders Peirce's theory talks about three layers of signs, whereas Saussure's theory says that sign has binaries, binary of signifier and signified. It means, suppose there is in language, as we know, that suppose I write C, then the C stands for the sound C. Or say, suppose I write cat, this cat as such is a signifier, and the image it creates in my mind of cat. So there is an arbitrary relationship between this signifier and signified. It means Saussure's study of signs, or semiotics, or semiology I should say, because the term semiology is given by or used by Saussure, Ferdinand de Saussure. So with Peirce, with John Locke, now after Saussure, we move towards another writer, Umberto Eco. Umberto Eco is a postmodernist writer, everybody knows, and he has used this term in Semiotics and the Philosophy of Language. And in that book, he has argued that semiotic theories are implicit in work of most, perhaps all, major thinkers. And in his novel, there is an inherent quest of study of sign. The Name of the Rose, the novel's name is, I have talked about Name of the Rose in one of my other videos on postmodernism, where I'm talking about Umberto Eco, and they have asked us question 2 or 3 times on Umberto Eco in that exam. And one more writer is there, Charles W. Morris. He's very much a 20th century writer. In his book Foundations of the Theory of Signs, SIGNS, he defined semiotics as grouped into 3 branches. First is semantics. In this, he says that relationship between sign and the thing to which they refer, or the meaning comes out. So that is semantics, relationship between sign and the thing. Charles W. Morris has a second category, that is syntactics or syntax, where there is a relationship among or between sign in formal structures. And the third one is pragmatics, relation between sign and sign using agents or interpreters. I would also like to talk about Ronald Barthes, a French structuralist and post-structuralist. He has written a very famous book, Mythologies. In that book, he talks about fashion, signboards, advertisements. And there also he says that these things are outward signs which have inherent meanings, and they are telling some other story. It means there are 4 or 5 writers who have together talked about semiotics, but from examination point of view, we should be clear that there are certain questions can be made based on all these things. That's it for semiotics. Thank you very much.